Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3, The Black Dog. I hope you're enjoying this podcast as I'm enjoying putting it out there. Remember, if you have a story that you want to tell somebody and you want to get to me and you want your story out there, even if I have to tell it in your own words, email us at talefromtheroads@gmail.com. Let's get right into it. I worked for a company in the 2000s, somewhere back in the day, and I had just really started driving, probably, 2 or 3 years in, constantly over the road. And I was working for a company, and back then, 26 cents and 17 cents a mile was considered pretty good money. So I had a load that went from Laredo, Texas to Detroit, Michigan. Along the way, I was going to stop in North Jackson, Ohio, and drop the load off there. And I was going to get the North Jackson, Ohio load, go on the 76 to the 80, Interstate 80, and then go from there to back to California. It was a big, long load, So it was probably around December, maybe November, late. There was a lot of snow on the ground, and I mean a lot. I mean, it probably snowed, 3 inches per night. In North Jackson, Ohio, there's a great lake around there, and so you get what's called lake effect snow. If you've ever seen lake effect snow, it's super huge, right? So when you're driving through the snow, especially up there, you get a sense of you're not moving. So I'm from Florida, and when it rains in Florida, we know we're moving forward. But when it snows, snow comes down so thick, and all you can see is these signs going by you. It's almost like you're sitting still. If you don't know, Interstate 76, it was conceived in August of 1958. The Colorado portion was planned and built first in December of 1969, and then so forth and so on. And what it did was it connected the I-80 with the rest of the interstate. And the history of the I-80 was designed as one of the original routes of the interstate highway system in the 56. And it was actually, the I-80 interstate was promoted as early as 1938. And in 1954, the Keystone Shortway Association to promote the idea. So this is a very old highway. There's very old things around there, old buildings and old cities, and just a slew of things that make it feel really ancient, so to speak. One night after I had driven, I was supposed to go to sleep, and I was in North Jackson, Ohio at the hub, and I couldn't sleep. I just felt sick. I just couldn't get any sleep. I felt like I was definitely gonna be having a long night, right? Because I had already driven about 11 hours, and I had another 11-hour drive back before I could stop. It was a stop trip, meaning I knew that I have a certain amount of hours to drive, and I can only drive a certain amount of hours in a day. I can only work a certain amount of hours in a day, and that's what DOT says. Well, I didn't get any sleep that night, and I stayed up and I tossed and turned. I was having bad dreams. I was in this really weird parking lot, and I don't know, just the vibes weren't there. It was snowing really bad, and I wake up, and I've probably gotten about 4 hours of sleep. I had just driven 11 hours the day before, 11 hours the day before that, and 11 hours the day before that. So we're at like 30-something plus hours here. I've probably gotten 10 to 15 hours of sleep for the whole time, and I'm just really, really tired. And I get my trailer and I hook up and I go to leave. And as I'm driving, I start just really feeling, I don't know, not right. Like I'm driving on these roads, the snow's coming down. It's probably about I don't know, 2 foot thick on the road. There is no snow plows. There's no like chemicals they're putting on the roads. It's just not a very good ideal situation. I can't really see the road, but I can see where other people have traveled in the road. So to set the stage, you have your road is white, and then you got another road that's kind of white, you know, and it's on the ground, and you can see the tire prints on the road from the previous driver. So I'm going to stay right there, and I'm probably going to go 30 miles an hour. There's no chains that I needed this time, but I definitely am kind of freaked out, you know, because I'm from Florida and I'm young, you know, I'm in my 20s at this point, and I'm thinking, you know, wow, this is a whole new experience for me. As I'm getting really, really tired, I'm about 5 to 6 hours in the drive at this point. I am just so tired. I should really pull over. And I'm just like, you know, I need to push this. I need to drive. I need to get through this snow. I know it's going to let up. And it starts letting up, and it starts getting really, really dark. And I mean dark. There's no street lights. There's no anything. It's just no cars on the road. It's just me. And it's rare to see that, especially in this day and age. Where it's just you on the road, and it's night. It's probably like 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe pushing 3 a.m. As I'm driving, I start feeling like I'm being watched. And it's really a weird feeling because there's like mountains on each side of me, and I just feel weird. Like, man, somebody's watching me. Like, I know that sounds really stupid when you think about it out loud. You're like, I know you've maybe felt that feeling, but I felt like I was being watched. And I was really tired. I kept rubbing my eyes and stuff, and I saw a person walking on the left side of the road, and I was going west, so this, you know, they're walking on the left side of the road. Well, I take a double take, and there's nobody there, so I'm like, that's weird. You know, because I could have sworn I saw a person with a backpack. At late at night, I know we have seen that one guy or gal walking in the middle of the night, and they have a little backpack and a walking stick. There's going to be a story about that later. But so I'm like really worried that I'm really overexhausted here. So I'm saying, well, am I seeing stuff, or what is this going on, you know? And then I'm driving a little further, about 10 miles up the road. The snow starts clearing, the road starts looking like a road, and I see a black figure on the hill, and it's paralleling me, running parallel with me. And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm looking at the road, and I see this black mass, and I don't know what it is. And I'm like, that must be a bear or something, right? And as I'm driving, all at once, it runs down the mountain straight at my truck. I'm in probably 6th gear because I'm not going any faster than 30 still at this point. I've been driving 30 miles an hour for like 5 hours, and it's terrible. If you ever driven, you know it's terrible to go that slow for that long. And this black mass all of a sudden transformed, if you will, into a deer or a mule deer. A mule deer is this huge deer that's out there in the upper part of the country. It's just big old deer. And I'm like, wow, this is gonna hit this deer. And it just runs right at the side of my truck, and it just vanishes and stops and doesn't go in front of me. And I'm looking for this animal, and I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm still driving because I'm not going to stop the truck. And that's when I look up and I see this black mass jump into my windshield. I literally ducked my head, I shut my eyes, I turned a little bit, I almost swerved the truck, and it all happened at once. So the black mass, the paralleling, the running down the mountain, the turning into a deer, I look, and a black mass just jumps into my windshield. It almost made me wreck. I didn't know what that was. It's not something I imagined. It happened. I saw it. It really happened to me. This really happened. I'm thinking in my mind, did this really happen? Did I imagine this? Like, what is going on? So I literally keep going. I end up catching 45, 55, and I'm going about 55 miles an hour for a while. I get over to a rest area somewhere eventually, and I pull over, and I go to sleep. Well, I did some research on the subject, and found some things out later. I called my mom. Guys, I love my mom, okay? And I call her and we're talking about this incident, and I tell her what happened, and she asked me all these questions, and I tell her it's snowing, I'm tired, and I know that there's sleep deprivation things, but I was tired, but I wasn't that tired, okay? I'm not, daydreaming here and seeing hallucinations, okay? But this happened, and my mom tells me, there's things on this earth that are evil and unexplained that have been roaming these dark lands for many, many, many years. And the more we produce and create and expand and all, we awaken and stir these things up. A lot of legends from this comes from ignoring sleep, running too hard, hallucinating, sleep deprivation, causes cognitive effects when you're driving, low visibility. It could have been anything. But I found out through research that, and this is a very opaque subject people don't like to talk about this on the road, but it's called the black dog. And it only happens when you're really tired, or if there's an accident, or it could be even saving you. Nobody really knows if it's malevolent or if it's friendly, but we do know that it happens to a lot of drivers, and it happens to a lot of people who aren't that tired. And it's a black mass or a dog or a figure that jumps in your windshield, and it's been known to kill people. It's been known to hurt drivers. It's been known to cause huge accidents. Tree people is like you would see a person on the side of the road and you'd look again and actually see it's a tree or bush. When you're tired, you would always mistake a tree or something for a person. But I guess that's the brain making you think. But this thing jumps at you. It jumps at you. And there's many accounts of the black dog. So I've maybe seen a couple of incidents since. I could discuss them at a later time. But I do know that this was the most pronounced time that I ever saw this. And it happened to me in an instant. It happened to me in a flash. And I definitely saw a deer. I definitely saw antlers. It was brown. It had a, big, robust body. And then it turned into this black mass and jumped directly in my windshield. It's called the black dog. That was my black dog experience. And so if you're ever driving on an interstate and you're really tired, whether it's gonna save you or whether it's gonna help you, the legend of the black dog is been around for a long time. It supposedly comes when the truck driver's been driving too long or starts to fall asleep at the wheel. They'll see a ghoul running toward the truck just before a crash. The apparition can cause the driver to steer off the road in the traffic, and it results in accidents that kills people. The origin are difficult to pin down, but there has been beliefs about the black dog as far back as Egyptian times. Most people universally see it as malevolent. I know that I can say that some people say it's a vanishing hitchhiker who's died in a terrible accident, returns, stop to pick a hitchhiker up, and he disappears in your truck. But I do know this: the dog, the deer, the mass, the black, it jumped in my truck. It came through my windshield. I had to physically duck my head. I thought something was coming in my truck, and there was nothing there. I did not swerve. I did not panic, but I definitely, had to hit my brakes and get my composure. So just remember, if you're tired and it's late at night, you're on the interstate, remember that there's things out there that sleep, that we awake. And when you're really upset, or you're really tired, or you're just drowsy, there could always be a problem with the black dog. This has been Survivor Gamer. I hope you enjoyed this episode 3. Remember, if you have a story from a tale from the road and you want to get it out there, even if you don't want to be on the mic, I can tell the story for you in your own words. Email us at talefromtheroads@gmail.com. Until next time, survive and stay alive. Peace.